Hi and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be reacting to the vile, the disgusting and the disgraceful English media. Now in this video I'm going to list all the reasons why I am calling the English media vile, disgusting and downright disgraceful. For starters, if you're not aware, this past weekend we had a pre-Euros friendly match between England and Iceland. And basically in this game, England lost 1-0. Now, as always, when England's national team loses, it's always the black players who are scapegoated and basically to blame. Now, this past weekend was no different. Now, Kobbie Mainoo started in this match in a midfield alongside Declan Rice with Phil Foden just about playing ahead the two of them. So he was basically playing like a 4-2-3-1 with Rice and Kobbie sitting as the two pivots, and then you had in front of them you had Foden in the 10, you had Anthony Gordon on the left, Cole Palmer on the right, and Harry Kane up front. Now, England lost the game 1-0 as I stated, but guess who was to blame for this game? I mean, if you watched how Iceland scored their goal, Kobbie Mainoo was not to blame for that game, for the goal. Iceland played a few good passes, which led to them going and scoring. Now, the guy who actually scored the goal for Iceland very easily, and I mean easily, went past John Stones and then hit a shot which, to be honest, Aaron Ramsdale has to be saving that. It went straight through Ramsdale's fingers. But guess who got the blame? Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo was the one who got the blame. Kobbie Mainoo, who is probably getting his second or third cap for England, playing alongside a seasoned professional in Declan Rice, was the one to get the blame. I mean, that goal, like I said, Ramsdale should have saved that goal. He should have prevented that goal from going in. But it didn't. Now, instead of the English media focusing on Ramsdale or John Stones, who didn't close his man down in time, they chose to focus on the black kid, Kobbie Mainoo. Now, people will be like, no, it's not about race, it's not about... It is about race. We've seen England do this many times. Many, many times. Now, it doesn't end there. The English media couldn't even wait for full time in order to start their witch hunt against Kobbie Mainoo. At halftime, I repeat, at halftime, Jason Burt from The Telegraph wrote an article and released it at halftime whilst England still had a second half to play. The article was titled, and I quote, "Big questions over Kobbie Mainoo's positioning for Iceland's goal." Big questions over Kobbie Mainoo's positioning for Iceland's goal. So in a team in which Kobbie Mainoo is playing in the double pivot with Declan Rice, he's the only one to blame. A goal in which, like I said, John Stones basically just let his man, just kept on backing off of his man and let him have a shot, which, by the way, Ramsdale should have saved, but he went straight through his fingers. They chose to dig out the young black kid in Kobbie Mainoo. This is how vile and disgusting these guys are. Now, I feel it's time to call out this bullshit. It's honestly time to call out this bullshit agenda that the English media have against the black players. They do it all the time. Every single time they do it. I mean, even Eric Ten Hag pointed it out in the FA Cup final. After we won the FA Cup final, when flipping, what's this guy, this disgrace of a pundit and former player, Alan Shearer was basically giving him the big end. Eric Ten Hag basically said to him, he said, the English media, or rather the English pundits, are very good at building up a player stroke manager and then bringing them straight down when they have a few run of bad games. And this is exactly what he was talking about. Kobbie Mainoo didn't even have a stinker against Iceland. The whole team was shit. The whole flipping team was shit. But guess who the focus was on? Kobbie Mainoo. Now, I know some of you are probably asking me, why am I only doing the video now if it's so important to me? I thought to myself, I didn't watch the game live when it played over the weekend. I wasn't around. But yesterday, I saw people reacting to the English media, basically scapegoating Mainoo and Saka. So I said to myself, you know what? Let me not jump to react. Let me actually go back. So today I watched some highlights, 30-minute highlights of the whole game against Iceland, between England and Iceland. And I actually saw Harry Kane. He missed a chance from 2 yards from goal. He missed an open net. All he had to do was just tap it in, guide the ball nice into the back of the net. They skied it. Cole Palmer went in one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He chose to go around the keeper and hit the side netting. He also had another good chance. He went around the keeper again, and he skied the ball. Phil Foden, non-existent. Declan Rice, busy going forward, leaving Kobe Mainoo by himself. Leaving Kobe Mainoo exposed in the back. But guess who they chose to focus on? Kobe Mainoo. Like I said, I feel this needs calling out. This witch hunt against black players needs calling out. Now, some might say, how am I concerned? I'm not English, I'm not from England, I don't even live in England, so how does it concern me? It concerns me because I'm a black guy. Look at the color of my skin, I'm black. So when I see a fellow black guy, whether he's a footballer, or whether he plays tennis or whatever, being racially discriminated, I'm going to speak up. I am going to speak out. I know this video might be unpopular. Some people might feel like I don't know, maybe I'm racist as well. I don't care what you think. I started this channel so I could speak my mind. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I genuinely feel that we need justice for the black players. Especially the ones who are being vilified by the English media year in, year out. Tournament in, tournament out. Those guys are not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. And when I say we need justice for these black players, I mean some of these so-called journalists need to get fucking fired. They need to get sacked. Because they are very incompetent and some of them are actually downright racists. I mean, who approved that fucking article against Kobe Mainoo? At halftime. Since when do we now do stories at halftime on players? They couldn't wait for full time, so they decided to release the story. The Telegraph should find shame. Shame on you, The Telegraph. Releasing a story on a 19-year-old kid, basically criticizing him at halftime. Like I said, justice for black players. And by justice, some of these journalists, like I said, need to start getting fired. They need to lose their jobs. Maybe then this English media will stop being so fucking racist. Because that's what they are at this point. Now, not all of them are, but majority of them are. We see it year in, year out. The treatment of black players is atrocious. Now, as if them scapegoating Kobe Mainoo at halftime wasn't bad enough, guess what they went and did? They found another scapegoat, another black guy, Bukayo Saka. Saka came on and played 25 minutes of that game. 25 minutes. However, when the game was done and England had lost the match, guess who was on the front cover of every page of every newspaper across England? Bukayo Saka. Tell me why that is. Why was Bukayo Saka on the front page of every newspaper in England? They're basically saying that, yes, England may have lost, but basically guess who the scapegoat is, or guess who's to blame? Bukayo Saka. A guy who didn't even start the game. A guy who only played 25 minutes in the game. Why couldn't they have put Harry Kane on the front page as the leader, one of the captains? Why couldn't they have put Declan Rice, Phil Foden, who was non-existent? Cole Palmer missed 2 big chances. They instead have to focus on Kobe Mainoo and Bukayo Saka. Absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. I know some people will say I'm just sticking up for Kobe Mainoo because he's a Man United player, but guess what? You're wrong. I'm sticking up for him because he's a black player. Bukayo Saka, another one. He doesn't even play for Man United. He's black. Again, he's from England. I'm not, but he's black, so I am going to stick up for him. The treatment of black players from the English media is absolutely bullshit. And like I said, it needs calling out. I mean, let's go back to 2020. The Euros that took place in 2020. Bukayo Saka, Jadon Sancho, and Marcus Rashford. All 3 players missed penalties. Was it against Italy in the finals? And guess what? Some of the English fans were basically racially abusing them. All over Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. They were just abusing them proper. And that was disgusting. And as if that wasn't bad enough, the English media had to go and add on to the pile on. Every flipping newspaper you were finding Bukayo Saka, Marcus Rashford, and Jadon Sancho. They were the scapegoats of England losing those Euros in 2020. However, when the likes of Harry Kane missed a flipping penalty against France, was it in the World Cup semi-finals or quarterfinals? The last World Cup we had is now in 2022. Kane missed a very vital penalty against France, which subsequently led to England being knocked out of the competition. But guess what? Kane wasn't vilified. He wasn't put in front of every magazine and every newspaper in England. Because what? He's the media darling. He's a good guy. Kane is one of the lads. He's a good guy. We can't paint him like that. Leave him alone. But when it's the black players who miss the penalties, they get their faces plastered all over the news, the media, everywhere. Those are the double standards that the black players in England are facing. Now to further prove that what I'm saying is true, again in the very same competition in the World Cup now, the last World Cup in 2022, England beat Iran 6-2. 6-2. And in that game, Raheem Sterling got a goal and an assist. Jude Bellingham scored a goal. Bukayo Saka scored a brace. Marcus Rashford came off the bench and scored a goal, breaking a new record. A new record for the fastest goal scored by a player coming off of the bench in a World Cup tournament. Let me repeat. Sterling got a goal and an assist. Bellingham got a goal. Saka scored a brace. Rashford scored a goal and broke the record for the quickest goal by a player off the bench in a World Cup. And then guess what? And Jack Grealish scored a 6th goal in the 90th minute of the game when the game was basically done. It was already 5-1 to England. He made it 6-1. In the 90th minute when the game was done. So his goal basically wouldn't have impacted the game. Even if he hadn't scored it, England still would have won. But guess what happened after that? Jack Grealish was plastered all over the media. He was in the news. He was in the flipping newspapers. Every newspaper you had Jack Grealish as the face of the 6-2 victory. So I'm just trying to indicate to you that when things are good, they put the white guys in front. But things are bad and England have lost or have been knocked out of a competition, the black guys, let them hold the fall. Let them take the fall. Let them be the scapegoats. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting and it needs calling out, like I'm saying. I mean, this is the very same English media who vilified Paul Pogba when he was at Man United. Pogba, a Muslim guy who doesn't even drink alcohol. The guy just wanted to focus on his life. I remember at some point, I think Pogba was coming back from an injury. And then there was a video of Pogba basically praying before the game. It was in his car. And then the English media reacted to that. They said he needs to focus more on his football. He needs to stop focusing on his beliefs and should basically focus on football. Yet when Jack Grealish is getting drunk in front of everyone on live television, he's showing people he's drunk, he's drinking. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people shouldn't celebrate after winning. He had won a treble, so I accept. Go have fun. But Jack Grealish was getting drunk in front of everybody. He's in the documentary for Man City. He was on Sky Sports drunk. Everything was there. But because it's Jack Grealish and it's a white guy, oh, go on, Jack. He's one of us. What a lad he is. Champion him. What a player. We love that. Let him have fun. But the very same people praising Jack Grealish for getting drunk on live television were the same people going after a black player who was just basically trying to follow his beliefs. You see what the double standards are here? There's many examples I could use, many. It's always the black players, whether they're English or not. As long as they're playing in England, they're the ones who get vilified whilst the English ones get defended. The black players get scapegoated all the time whilst the white guys get protected and defended all the time, no matter how bad they're performing. I mean, look at Raheem Sterling. How many times were they going at Raheem Sterling? They had to go at him because he had tattoos. They had to go at him when he bought his mom a house. Yet the very same people who were criticizing Raheem Sterling, saying that he's showing off when he bought his mom a house, were the same people championing Phil Foden when he bought his mom a house. It's double standards, guys. It's simply double standards, and it's not good enough. This bullshit needs to end. This racism needs to end. And it needs calling out. And like I said, I repeat, I'm not from England. I'm not English. But I will call out bullshit when I see it. Now, I don't care if this costs me a few subscribers. But the real ones know. I'm not just saying this out of nowhere. It's the truth. I've given you reasons as to why I felt the need to do this video. I even took time. I sat back, I observed, I actually watched the game, the highlights, 30-minute long of highlights. I saw what was going on, looked at the articles, and I thought, this is disgusting. Let me do a video reacting to it. I think at this point, if you're an English player or a black English player, and you've got the choice to play for either England, but maybe you were born in England, you were raised in England, but your parents are from, I don't know, Africa or wherever. At this point, I feel like you're safer playing for your motherland. If you've got, for example, you someone like Bukayo Saka, he's better off playing for Nigeria. Too bad he can't do that now because he's played a few games for England. But he's better off playing for Nigeria because they're going to love him in Nigeria. Someone like Kobe Minu, I think he's got what? Ghanaian origins, I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm wrong. He's better off playing for flipping Ghana. Raheem Sterling, apparently he's got Jamaican roots. He's better off playing for Jamaica because they're not going to be racist towards him. Honestly. I mean, like a great man once said, go where you're loved, not tolerated. And I think these black players who have the option of playing for England, unless if England is the only country you can play for, then by all means do it. But if I've got a choice to play for another country, I think I'll take the choice to play for the other country over England. Because the media are a joke. They're disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But anyways, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you thought in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree with anything I was saying? If you disagree, if I'm being honest, I don't really care. But those are my thoughts. I don't regret doing this video. That's how I feel. So, yeah. If you want to like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys soon.